I see we all found our way to the Delta today. Very nice. Good afternoon. Welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name's Dave Alexander. I have the pleasure and honor serving as president this year. Okay, what did we hear? John Mellencamp. ROCK in the USA. What year? Ooh, close. Close. 85. It was on the Scarecrow album, one of my favorites. This was John, used to be Johnny Cougar Mellencamp, now John Mellencamp's tribute to the 1960s rock and roll. So today's program will be a presentation from Congresswoman Hillary Scholten. The Congresswoman will have some brief opening remarks and then would like to have a conversation with you, so get your questions ready. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance and have a reflection by Claire Root Benson. Then the four-way test, and we'll adjourn. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Claire?
Good morning, good afternoon, I suppose, a couple minutes ago. During heavy times, we all can use more art. We are in the midst of Hispanic Heritage Month. The poet Juan Felipe Herrera was our first Chicano person to be named as the U.S. Poet Laureate. He was a child of migrant farm workers, born in 1948, and he is a graduate of UCLA, Stanford University, and the University of Iowa Writers Workshop. I wanted to share with you today his 2008 poem entitled, "Let Me Tell You What a Poem Brings." Before you go further, let me tell you what a poem brings. First, you must know the secret. There is no poem to speak of. It is a way to attain a life without boundaries. Yes, it is that easy, a poem. Imagine me telling you this instead of going day by day against the razors, well, the judgments. All the TikTok bronze, a leather jacket sizing you up, the fashion mall, for example. From the outside, you think you are being entertained. When you enter, things change. You get caught by surprise, your mouth goes sour, you get thirsty, your legs grow cold, standing still in the middle of a storm. A poem, of course, is always open for business too. Except, as you can see, it isn't exactly business that pulls your spirit into the alarming waters. There you can bathe, you can play, you can even join in on the gossip, the mist. That is, the mist becomes central to your experience. Thank you.
Wow. Before we sit and continue on, I just want to let you know to please keep Myra Dutton and her family in your thoughts and prayers as they grieve the passing of Myra's daughter, Ashley, this past week. Please take your seats, continue your lunch, networking, and mingling. We'll be back shortly. So, visiting Rotarians and guests, please come forward this side. And we're going to have Tiffany. There she is with the mic. Come on over. Tiffany, I'll go first. Good afternoon, Rotarians. I'd like to introduce my guest today, Isabel Gonzalez. She is an economic analyst for the city of Muskegon, does economic development, Lakeside, Sherman Corridor, and the Getty Corridor. And we were colleagues back before we were retired. So glad to have her today. Isabel.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I have a very ambitious guest. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Tom Thoup. He has served in the Army Reservists for 15 years, currently works as an interim IT program director for the government when they're not shut down, and is a graduate student. He's raising sixth-generation Muskeganites, has spent about 25 of his 34 years involved in various nonprofits across the country. Tom comes from a Mariner family and holds maritime history extremely close to his heart. He also started a business years ago to help nonprofits with safety and security. He is currently involved in Muskegon Emergency Management, Safe Kids of West Michigan, and the Michigan Human Trafficking Task Force. Help me welcome Mr. Tom Thoup.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heidi Seitzema, and I'm happy to have with us today Congresswoman Skolton as our program, and then two of her very important staff people from the West Michigan area, Catherine Pina and Ryan Versix.
Hello, everyone. Karen Kikelik here from Indigro. Today I have this handsome young man next to me. He is our CEO at Indigro, and he oversees all the operations at Indigro. He also creates all the processed products that we make at Indigro, so he's in the lab all day long. He's the father to two beautiful little girls, and he's also my husband.
Hello, Claire Root Benson here, and my guest again today is Zuri Lebrenz, who's a former student of mine and a former MHS Interact Club president. She is joining the club and has put her application in for membership, and we did orientation yesterday.
Good afternoon, Annette Jack, and I'm happy to have with me today my husband, John.
Hi, I'm introducing Ann Mish today. I have her as my guest. She's the city clerk for the city of Muskegon and a dedicated public servant with 35 years in municipal government, including more than 3 decades overseeing elections. She's popular for working with the downtown chalets, and she's been a cornerstone of the local business and tourism down there. So she is here to visit with us today, and I'd like to welcome her.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I'm Kathy Hagedis, Chief Administrative Officer for District 6290, and here is your Assistant Governor for our region, Muskegon River region. She is responsible for sponsoring and helping in any way you might need for the Allendale Club, the Coopersville Club, the Spring Lake Club, the Grand Haven Club, and the Muskegon Club. Welcome, Kim.
Hello, my name is Chad Lowy from WP Harbor, and my guest today is my lovely wife, Leanne Lowy. She is a member of Indy Next Gen. She is involved with the North Muskegon PTO, and she's also involved with numerous local beach cleanups, park cleanups, and other things. So anyway, that's my guest today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Rachel Gorman with the Muskegon Lakeshore Chamber of Commerce, and I'm so excited to reintroduce a returning Rotarian this afternoon, Jonathan Seifert. Some of you remember Jonathan transferred to the Coopersville Rotary Club when he left as Executive Director of Downtown Muskegon Now in 2015 to pursue city management in Coopersville. He went on to become the Township Supervisor in Gaines Township, and then we had the incredible opportunity to bring him back to Muskegon, and I'm super proud that I was able to make the motion in 2022 to offer him the position as our city manager, which I will say is probably the most important vote I've done yet. So please help me welcome back Jonathan to our club.
All right, Jonathan's great, but I expect even more for these guests because our student guests today are from Whitehall. To introduce two of the seniors is Bobby Oldenburg. She is assistant principal at the high school.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having us. I have been at the high school for over 20 years, 18 years as a high school teacher, and then I moved into administration about 6 years ago. As AP, I generally deal with basically the things you think an AP did. I'm sure none of you are ever in an assistant principal's office, but I do get the opportunity sometimes to get out and enjoy students like this. Both of these students are some of our excellent students, both academically. They both have the grit to be cross-country runners. Anybody who is a runner knows what that takes. And probably most stand out, these students really are some of our kindest and just most generous students that we have. So I'm just giving an opportunity both for Cassidy and for Hunter to kind of talk a little bit what their next steps are going to be.
Hi everyone, I'm Cassidy Parmley, and I'm what some would call a very involved student here at Whitehall High School. And I am involved in student council, FFA, NHS. As a student athlete, I do powerlifting, cross country, track, and soccer. I am in the early college program with MCC. So after I finish my associates this next year, I plan on enlisting in the Army and being a medic.
And I'm Hunter Parsons, and I've also feel pretty involved in the school, but especially the big subject I'm into is math, and going into college, I'll definitely be focusing on probably like computer graphics and robotics possibly. For the time being, math is my main focus, and I have loved going through the past couple years, going from Algebra 1 as a freshman to finishing Calculus BC last year and getting a 5 on the AP exam. And then the same score on the physics exam. So yeah, last year felt really good. And after finishing off 4 APs, I'm taking on another 4 this year. I'm not currently committed to any college yet, although I do have quite a few on my mind. I'll probably go through MCC to get there, but we'll see. And then, of course, I have to talk about extracurriculars. Like Cassidy, I'm a cross-country runner, and I qualified for state my sophomore year. And I went for it again last year and didn't quite make it in on the tougher course. I ran faster, but there was just so much competition, and I'm using that as my motivation to go for it again this year. So, and then I do track as well. I just think cross-country is more of my main focus. The other thing I want to talk about, I'm also in NHS, but I love marching band. I'm the drum major for our band this year, and it's been a really cool experience. Unfortunately, our band has kind of, been on the decline in the recent years with removing our previous band director, Matthew Robb. Anyway, I definitely want to go back into marching band in college. I think it'll be so much fun. That's all for me, though.
Welcome, Vikings. Welcome. And welcome back, Jonathan. Just mentioned that the program committee has Jonathan on November 6th to give us an update on the waterfront development plans. My Muskegon Minute goes right along with that. If you've ever followed my journalism over the years, you will know that I had a thing about waterfront development on Muskegon Lake. Well, I wish I was still writing this past week, as my story list would have included. Number 1, there was a report on an Eagle webinar on a response activity plan for the Windward Point SAPI project. The topic was on the construction of up to 220 single-family homes to be built with podium-style construction, and that is going to be open for public comments being accepted by Eagle through October 21st, and the recorded Zoom on that event is on the Eagle site. Secondly, yesterday, Congresswoman was there. Many of you were also with us. A formal EPA announcement on the delisting of the Muskegon Lake as an area of concern was made at Heritage Landing. A community celebration will be announced soon. Good on all of you, good on this community. Thirdly, Muskegon City Manager Jonathan Seifert and city staff will conduct a public information session on Mart Dock Fisherman's Landing Development Plan on Tuesday, October 21st at 6 o'clock, Muskegon High School Auditorium, for all those that are interested in that development and those discussions. Finally, both MLive and Cranes Grand Rapids had news on court action from Lead Bank on the Adelaide Point project loans. Boy, I wish we had a newspaper. Heidi Seitzma, introducing our program.
I should ask for some walk-up music. Shoot. No, thank you. I am very pleased to introduce our program today, Congresswoman Hillary J. Skolton. She's honored to serve Michigan's 3rd Congressional District, which is a very diverse district anchored by Grand Rapids and Muskegon and Grand Haven urban centers, as well as containing miles of Lake Michigan shoreline and the suburbs and some rural areas as well. She is committed not only to building a better life for her constituents and their families, but devoted to creating a better community for all. Congresswoman Skolton.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. It is so wonderful to be here with you today. There's just really not a lot happening in Washington, so I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Truly, there is nothing that I take more seriously in this job than making sure that I am showing up in the community to answer your questions, to take your comments, to take your feedback, and to report on what is happening. We need the Rotarian spirit in Washington now more than ever. You guys really need to give yourselves a round of applause. Rotary is more than just a civic organization. It's a living example of what happens when service, leadership, and compassion come together to make a difference. And here in Muskegon, you embody that among the best. I think a lot of you are familiar with me, but to start our time, I wanted to just introduce myself to you and talk about why I came to service. I was born and raised here in West Michigan, not in an overly political family, to say the least. Actually raised in kind of conservative, Christian Reformed, Dutch West Michigan. I actually did not even know a Democrat until I was a senior in high school. That is the truth. I thought maybe you had to get a special dispensation from the church. I wasn't sure how it worked. But my parents were deeply service-oriented people. My mom, a special ed public school teacher at a highly impoverished elementary school her entire career, then going on to serve as a principal and a school improvement consultant. It was through my mom that I saw the importance of giving back to our community. And she taught us that, sometimes even working hard and playing by the rules isn't enough to get ahead, right? Sometimes the laws need to change to reflect more justice, more decency, more fairness. My dad was our local sports reporter, and while you may not think that is a service-oriented profession, he made it one, elevating the stories of people in our community whose stories didn't often get told. I almost get choked up every time I talk about it, but one of my favorite things about this job is going out in our community, and when people are going to come and hear me speak or come to a town hall, they'll often bring sports clippings that my dad had written about them or one of their family members, their children, celebrating their accomplishments and success. And the way we tell our stories about our community right now, who we uplift, really, really matters. I didn't set out to be the first woman in history to represent this district in Congress. But it happened in bits and pieces. My parents always told me, when you see a challenge, you don't run away from it. You raise your hand. It's what inspired me to want to become a social worker. I went to school, became a social worker, worked on housing and homelessness issues right here in West Michigan. Then I went on to law school to enhance my advocacy skills on behalf of our community. I worked my way through law school. I had my 2 kids during law school, graduated with honors, and then went on to clerk at the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, and then I landed my dream job at the United States Department of Justice. I was admitted through a program called the Attorney General Honors Program, which is for high-achieving, high-aspiring young attorneys who have a promising career at the Justice Department. I was happily working away there, would have gladly served a Republican or a Democratic administration, but there were some significant changes that happened in the course of my tenure that caused me to take a real significant look at what I was doing and what this moment called me to do. So I made the decision to leave the Justice Department at that point. I moved back home to West Michigan, started doing advocacy on behalf of our community, and then really received the call to run for public service in 2020. I realized that the values that we saw in our community needed a voice and a champion. I ran in 2020 and unfortunately came up short, but ran again in 2022 and came back with commanding success and won, and then won my first re-election in 2022. So where are our young people today? If at first you don't succeed, try again, especially for young women out there. We don't let a single failure define us. It is an honor now to be serving in my second term in the United States House of Representatives. I serve on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee and the House Small Business Committee. There I get to serve a diverse array of needs for the West Michigan community. Close to 99% of the businesses that we have in West Michigan meet the federal definition of a small business. And so it is why I chose to serve on this committee, so that we could meet our needs. Economic diversity is one of our strengths here in West Michigan. And on the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, we work on tons of great different projects. I love that committee because as crazy and contentious as Congress is right now, we work in a strong bipartisan spirit in that committee to get things done. The Republican chair and the Democratic ranking member will start each committee hearing and saying, if you are in this committee to get famous or get on TV, you're welcome to leave. Go around the corner. The Judiciary Committee, the Oversight Committee is right there. There's tons of news cameras. But if you're here to get things done for the American people, welcome, and let's get to work. That is the spirit that we need more of in Congress right now. On those subcommittees, I take up some critical work for West Michigan, particularly on the Coast Guard subcommittee, so critical to our Lakeshore region. And my bill, the Pay Our Coast Guard Parity Act, is an essential bill right now. We are continuing to champion it. It has not been passed into law, but it ensures that our United States Coast Guard gets paid on time in the event of a government shutdown. We are all too familiar with the shutdown of 2018, which lasted for 35 days, and we were having food drives for our Coast Guard here in West Michigan. It's just unconscionable. I also serve on the House Water Resources Subcommittee, where I work to protect our Great Lakes, rivers, and streams, and was just so elated to be at the announcement yesterday. Since 1993, we have been working to get that decommissioned. 30 years. It was first listed as an area of concern. We were remarking, Dave, water is just one of the biggest things that I work on in Congress. So I just want to say a few notes about this. But in 1987 was when it was first designated. I was 5 years old, so I don't pretend to claim all of the work for the last 30, 40 years of getting it decommissioned. But I remember coming out here and thinking, that's not a lake you can swim in, right? It has a stigma around it, an undeserved stigma. And the work that we have done as a community to return that lake to its full and beautiful purpose deserves not only to be celebrated for that particular effort, but for what it can mean about what we can accomplish when we work together. As your member of Congress, it is my job to ensure that your voices are heard, your priorities are championed, and your values are reflected in the decisions being made at the federal level. Issues that matter here, from workforce development, infrastructure investment, access to quality health care, affordable housing, and economic opportunity for all, are the things that I keep top of my mind every time I climb the steps to the United States Capitol to take votes on behalf of West Michigan. In Congress, I am hard at work to uplift our communities, whether that's by introducing legislation to make life more affordable, honor our teachers, our social workers, or the votes that we take. Unfortunately, as you are no doubt aware, Congress is deeply divided right now. This shutdown will hurt West Michiganders. I heard a pundit talking on the news the other day about, right before the vote, saying, oh, this is going to be a fun week to watch in Washington. There is nothing fun about this, right? This has serious consequences for the American people. I'm spending my time here in Michigan this week, but I was in Washington at the start of the week where we were hoping to reach a deal before this happened. And I remain committed to open dialogue. I have made it a point to join every single bipartisan working group that you can be a part of in Congress. I'm a member of the Problem Solvers Caucus, of No Labels, of Third Way. These organizations that bring people together to put the partisanship aside and just focus on the work that matters. Some people say, you need a caucus called the Problem Solvers Caucus. Shouldn't that just be what Congress is? I couldn't agree more, but apparently we do, and I can tell you we're hard at work. I also know this. We don't solve these challenges from the top down. We solve them by working together. Public and private sector, government and community groups, citizens and service organizations like Rotary, partnering for the common good. We live in a time that too often feels divided. There's a new report out this week that a startling number of Americans think that it may be time to solve our problems by turning to violence. About a 10% increase from this time last year when the same poll was taken. I can't tell you how strongly I disagree with that notion. I believe that we have only just begun to try to work on the problems that divide us, and it starts by talking about the things that we agree with and working from there. Because at its core, I know that everyone shares the values of wanting a safe and equitable community for all. We want good jobs. We want clean drinking water. We want affordable housing. It's all in the how we get there. And that's what I'm committed to figuring out in Washington every single day. Rotary shows us that that kind of not only unity, but progress is possible when we choose service over self-interest, dialogue over division, and purpose over politics. So today, I'm here to say thank you. Your leadership matters, your voice matters, and your example is needed now more than ever. Thank you for having me. Thank you. We can do some questions. Yeah? Okay.
Tiffany, okay. Questions, not speeches. Tiffany, someone's got a first one right back there.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. As a former longtime school board member, every spring we would need to prepare a budget, which needed to be completed by June 30, as does the city of Norton Shores and the city of Muskegon, and everybody else at the local level needs to get that done. Then the state takes their happy time and maybe gets it done. I don't think they're done yet. Still not done.
They have a deal. The state says they have a deal and they can get it done, and government services will not be interrupted. But, yeah.
That's what they say, yes.
Yeah.
And then we jump up to you guys, who have been producing CRs for as long as I can remember.
Yep.
I don't know when the last time the federal government actually produced a budget.
On time. We
On
did
time,
pass
right.
one in 2024, but it was not on time. It was significantly delayed. Yeah.
Okay, so that's my question. Why, we all have to do it.
Yep.
Why don't you guys have to do it?
I think we should, and if you tune into any of my YouTube Skolton Explainer videos that we do, I recently did one on this, specifically on the timeliness of the budget and how I think we need some greater consequences for members of Congress for not getting this done. Why is it even an option that we don't do this? We run our household budget, and it's not an option not to pay our bills on time. Set a reasonable goals for saving and spending. It's September 30th every single year. Why are we waiting until the last minute? To say, we just need a little bit more time. We need to get this done or that done, right? We need to start now. And one of the groups that I'm a part of, we are working on a long-term solution for some frameworks for fixing the debt, responsible spending, and making sure that we don't run up against this, every single year at this time. That's even for the long term, right? But that's another reason, there were many reasons why, I didn't vote for this particular continuing resolution. Many of them being, it cuts $13 billion in non-discretionary spending. That's just unacceptable for, a lot of folks here in West Michigan. But another reason was, at some point, we just have to say, no, we're not going to kick the can down the road. Let's get a full budget. We actually are fairly close to getting this done. Let's just pass the full budget instead of all this, gamesmanship, because it can put people in a very tense and hostile situation. We've already passed 3 out of the House. The other ones are passed out of committee. So let's get back to work. I have no idea. We were supposed to vote on the 29th and the 30th. The House leadership, I'm being very careful not to point fingers, because when one party is in leadership, they've done this too, but the current House leadership canceled votes on the 29th and 30th, right before the government shut down. You shouldn't get to just go home when the work is not done. How many of you, just get to leave work just because you feel like it, even if your job isn't done? It's just not the way it works. So, yeah. Marsha. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, okay, you call them out. Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. My question is, how do you intend to address the current loopholes in the 2018 Farm Bill that are allowing for the proliferation of intoxicating hemp products, not only in Michigan, but all across the nation? These products not only unfairly compete with businesses like mine that are compliant, but they bypass taxation, they bypass safety guards, and more importantly, they're getting into the hands of minors. They can buy these at the gas station, they can order these direct to their door even, and this loophole needs to be closed.
Yeah, thank you so much. Can you tell me your business before you?
Indigro. We are a cannabis micro business here in Muskegon.
Thank you. I think we're maybe meeting with you soon. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, great. We're looking forward to more of a discussion. But listen, on the theme of kicking the can down the road, right? We have not reauthorized the Farm Bill yet, which was due to be reauthorized 2 years ago, right? It is long past time that we address this and the many other, critical issues that are contained, in that particular bill, from supporting our farmers, crop insurance, shoring up some of our natural defenses, natural barriers that help with extreme flooding and weather events. The list goes on and on. But in this one in particular, it is immediately harming kids in our community. There is no regulation, and it's unconscionable that we could allow this just to go on. And again, this is another reason why passing a responsible budget on time allows us to deal with those kinds of issues, because in Congress, one of the main reasons we can't get a lot of things done is because we are constantly subject to the tyranny of the urgent, right? There is always some other major, disaster or looming deadline, usually around the budget, that we have to, try to resolve. And it takes us away from the really, really important work of trying to solve some things like that. So I am not on the Ag Committee, but as a Michigander, we have a strong and heavy voice in making sure that we see our needs represented. I will go back and double check and see where in this iteration of the Farm Bill that has been left in or left out. You might know I'm not on the committee, so I don't have it off the top of my head. But when we sit down and meet with you for our meeting, we'll make sure it's addressed. So thanks for bringing it up. Yeah.
Question with the mic.
I'm coming.
Yeah, thank you. So to follow up on his question about the shutdown, why is it that we can't do like other countries do, where we just continue with the current budget until something is resolved? What's preventing us from doing that very common sense solution?
So I think that this is the crux of the issue right now, where a lot of people are like, well, why didn't you just vote for the quote unquote clean CR? And I actually pulled up some of these stats because this has been coming up quite a bit, and I thought some people were maybe gonna say like, why couldn't you vote for this? A clean CR means we continue funding at current levels, right? I would have no problem doing that. This current budget cuts $13 billion in non-discretionary spending, including an additional $280 million from NIH funding. We're talking about pediatric cancer research here, right? Once we take that funding away, people leave and they find other jobs. Testing that is ongoing grinds to a halt. This is not continuing funding at current levels. Cuts $30 million from broadband investments. $700 million in rental subsidies. Have I talked about the affordable housing crisis enough yet here? $1.4 billion for Army Corps projects. Think dredging. Think all kinds of shore cleanup projects that we have here out in West Michigan. $2 billion in infrastructure projects to improve airport. Defense nuclear nonproliferation programs. $185 million cut there. Farm produce purchasing programs. $20 million. Feeding hungry kids and supporting our farmers. That is a partial list. We're not this clean CR that the leadership is saying would have just allowed the government to stay open and continue the budget at current levels is anything but. If we were to put a proposal forward saying, let's just continue it for another 2 weeks, so that we can make sure that we get this done and get these budgets passed, that's something I think that we could agree to, but not additional egregious cuts that harm families that are already hurting. Yeah.
Hi, Michelle Gravelin with Trinity Health. So Trinity Muskegon, we're preparing for a $60 million loss over the next 3 to 4 years, and Trinity across the state of Michigan preparing for about $470 million, which we know is going to have a significant impact into our ability to help support our community.
Yep.
What hope do you see to try to turn that tide?
Yeah. It's a challenging time right now. The affordability crisis in general is harming everyone in our community, but particularly when it comes to healthcare. This is what this fight is about right now. We want a budget that reflects the values of our community, and particularly, we are asking for more concessions on affordable healthcare. extend the ACA subsidies, reinstate some of the NIH funding, or roll back some of these dramatic cuts to Medicaid that we have seen so that the American people can breathe just a little more. The majority party has said they won't even negotiate, they won't even sit down and talk about a temporary extension on some of these ACA tax credits because, you know, it's too expensive, right? And they don't want to give these giveaways, right? We're talking about, you know, insurance, health insurance tax credits that will allow a working family to afford their health insurance. Before the ACA, healthcare debt was the #1 reason for bankruptcy, personal bankruptcy in the United States of America. If these ACA tax credits are not extended, people won't be able to afford their health insurance and will go without. They'll go to hospitals. They'll still expect to be treated. Hospitals are going to have to foot the bill because they won't be able to, right? And we're going to just see an entire rollback to what we saw before the ACA. The ACA is not a perfect law. Please do not mishear me. And these tax credits are deeply problematic. They are not the only answer. But in the immediate, if they go away, they are going to cause very, very real pain. 27,000 individuals here in West Michigan, just in my district alone, and closer to 100,000 if you look at the whole West Michigan region, who would be impacted by these cuts. And so, you know, we have said, listen, if you need our votes, you need to help the American people breathe just a little bit on health care. We're at the table. We're willing to negotiate what that looks like. But I'm a big believer in compromising without compromising your values. My values are making health care more affordable and accessible for everyone in my community, and I'm not going to compromise on it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You make us proud.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hillary, thank you very much for your kind words about this organization. And please, she's on to her next appointment. But I will let you know that a speaker's honorarium this year will be a Muskegon Rotary Club donation to supplies and materials used by our club members and youth from our Interact clubs as they take service trips to El Salvador and Honduras. Thank you very much. Give her another award. Michael, birthday slide? DJ, it's today, buddy. Joanne Stoneburner, where are, and that's the only two, where are my, there, birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Important to make your $10 birthday gift to the Caring Connection using the envelopes up here. We also have a QR code, and it is also a QR code in the rim each week. Yeah, she'll take it. She'll take it. Today's Rotary in Action is Joni Smith. Mike.
I am Joni Smith, and I have been a member of Rotary for quite a while. And today we're going to talk about the greeters. The idea of being a greeter is to make sure everybody that comes in the door is not only kept in the record book, but is also welcomed. When I first joined Rotary, I became a greeter right away to get that red star removed. And that's how I got to know people in the club. I think they shouldn't be nervous. I've talked to some of the new greeters who say, oh, I don't want to make a mistake. I'm worried about that. And it all comes together. There usually are two people, and one is usually experienced and the other one might be new, and we can help each other. And it isn't really a difficult thing to do other than when it's real busy. Then it gets a little crazy, but it's a good job. And I think you need to just think about smiling a lot and being friendly, and it'll all come together. My dad was a Rotarian for 70 years and a past president and a Paul Harris. And of course, in those days, he would take me to the father-daughter things. He was in the St. Joe Benton Harbor Club in Michigan. And I always admired what they did. And then when I was in my career and busy with 70-hour weeks, I didn't have time to join Rotary. So thanks to Jim Fisher, I came to the Rotary meeting when his mom, Fran, who was a good friend of mine, was given a Paul Harris. And then Jim said, "Why aren't you in Rotary?" And I said, "Good question." And I joined, and I have loved it. I love service above self. Active in the DEI now. I just joined. I've always been active in the things for youth. Youth Exchange, I headed up for years, and also Interact, and I just love kids. So it's all a win-win.
Thanks, Joni. We have no inductions, but there are several on the way. We had a very good orientation, and we've got some more coming up on the board on October 14th in terms of approvals. And we will have some more Paul Harrises as our year goes on. Right now, if you have a brief Rotary Club message, an announcement, please join us up here, this side, and we will, this side, Roger. We will have a club committee or event announcements, and we will keep those to 2 minutes or less. And I'll start with next scheduled Rewind meeting is tonight, 5:15, Core Plaza at the Vault. Please join them. Calling Rotarians to leadership. We are still looking for those who would be in the presidency position or board of directors. Get a hold of myself, Roger, or Lisa. My theme of time and talent has some opportunities to volunteer in the coming weeks. And I would say, first off, that Rotarians are welcome to help out a second microforest that is being built at the Muskegon Lake Nature Center on Lake Avenue in North Muskegon. Interactors and Rotarians will be gathering at the site Saturday, October 18th from 9 until noon to put down cardboard and spread wood chips, dress appropriate for some manual labor. Additionally, Arn and team will be doing a Rotary food truck distribution Wednesday, October 22nd at the Supper House parking lot across from the Muskegon Heights High School main entrance. That's roughly from 4 to 6. Arn will be back next week for sign-ups with that. Raj?
As you can see, my job, my job as president-elect is to do anything Dave Alexander tells me to do. All right. I'm competing with Pastor Vanderhart today for the most orange shirt. I see that Mary Boyd's got a little orange on it. It might be the season. We're going to pretend it's fall, okay? So, this poster is the reason why I am talking to you, and I'm going to get my notes up here for a minute. He's got me all flustered. All right. Today, it's a mere 3 weeks from Harvest Fest. So my biggest task today is to help us distribute these lovely posters. Carla Flanders, my partner in crime, has more there. And we want to get them all over the Muskegon area. So we want to spread the word of this great night of food, drink, music, and raising money for the Muskegon Rotary Foundation. Remember, it's from 5 to 8 p.m. downtown at Baker College's Culinary Institute on October 23rd, 3 weeks from tonight. Did I mention that? Okay, I talked about her. I see Carla afterward to get posters. I see she's already handing them out. That's wonderful. Put them anywhere. I'm going to put one outside my office here in downtown Muskegon. Maybe we'll get one on a poster board, some board at Norton Shore City Hall. Mayor, by the way, Mr. Donovan, the Norton Shore City Council passed a balanced budget weeks before the beginning of the fiscal year. Go Norton Shores. Thank you for paying your taxes. I appreciate it. All right. So we also need help selling tickets. You will find a link to purchase them online in this week's RIM, and every week's RIM is as far as we can look to for the next 3 weeks. It's also available. The links are on the website, and there are also links in messages that Kim Boersma, thank you, Kim, has been sending out to the club. You can also see Kim's note from yesterday with the link to the volunteers. You'll get a discounted ticket for yourself and one non-Rotarian guest. What a deal. And I'm told by our great volunteer coordinator, Martha Fulbrick, that we only have about 6 slots left, so they're going fast. So please sign up today. We're looking forward to a great event in just 3 weeks. Thank you.
2 minutes, eh, Raj?
Representative Skolnick, or Skolnick. Oh my God.
Really? Since when?
Yes. Slotkin gave me a wonderful setup for my announcement. The Peace Builders Committee would like to remind you of the third workshop of Braver Angels, which we will be offering next week, Friday. The free workshop will help you preserve important family and friend relationships in a toxic political environment, while being true to your own values and political beliefs. It will offer strategies and skills for handling political differences in a constructive way. While we'll be addressing serious issues, we'll have some fun together and maybe even some laughs. Please register on the email that Kim set up for us, or you can contact Kathy Brubaker-Clark or Kelly DeVos or myself and let us know that you would like to come. It's Braver Angels Workshop next week, Friday afternoon from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock at the Pyramid Building on the second floor. You won't be disappointed.
Eric, you got a raffle for us? For how much? 10? 10. $874 for $10. Oh, there we go. For how much, Eric? $5. $833. Oh, treasurer with the mostest there. And for 20. 839. Oh, and our former treasurer. How does this work out? Money. No? Whose is it? Money goes to Interact. Thank you, Eric. Program next week will be the Muskegon Public Schools Innovation Academies of Muskegon. We'll hear about their efforts going into this school year. After the bell this year, we will mingle, as usual, and I will play Jackson Browne's Loadout Stay in background in honor and appreciation of our meeting crew, Mike, Kim, and those who have helped out with Ed, so work while he is off, along with the staff here at the Delta. Thanks for making our meetings so meaningful. I will tell you that this is a big fall weekend we got coming up. We have a symphony on Friday, a symphony gala on Saturday, Lakeshore Museum Center's Lumber Barons Ball on Saturday, and Michael, what do we got going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday? It's the Lumber Queen, and I am told it is sold out. Thank you, Rotarians, for support. And thank you for all the efforts on that great program. We will now stand, recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Let's unite for good. We are adjourned.